What's going on, guys? Bonafide Hustler here.
Raking profit in the house.
Glen with Hustler Hacks.
All right, so welcome to an amazing green room hangout, and trust me, it's amazing. You're going to want to tune in because today we have a special guest here in the house, Glen from the Hustler Hacks YouTube channel. We've known Glen for a very, very long time, but in this show, we're going to be talking about how Glen makes full-time income on Amazon. Plus, we're going to talk about his Ross and Marshall shoe hustle, and we're going to cap it off with him meeting Gary Vee himself. Anyways, I'm the Bonafide Hustler. I reside in Austin, Texas. I flip stuff up on a part-time basis that I find at garage sales, yard sales, flea markets, pawn shops, swap meets, big box stores. And I put it on places like eBay, Amazon, Craigslist, my antique booth, and consignment stores in town. I've created the Green Room University along with two other peeps, but one of them's right here. Rakin, what is going on, man?
Not much. Having a great day so far. Glad to be on the show with you guys. And, Glenn, good to see you, man. Wish we lived a little closer, man. We could connect more. But my name's Steve Rakin, 29 years old, about to be 30, which I don't know how to take that. Sell on eBay, Amazon, and looking forward to talking and picking your brain about merch by Amazon, Glenn. So that'll be fun. What's going on, Glenn? How are you?
I'm doing good. Glen, YouTube channel, Hustler Hacks, sell on merch by Amazon and eBay, and a little less FBA since merch, and YouTube channel, podcast, other stuff. So
all right,
pretty
so
much
let's get some of that out of the way first. You have a YouTube channel called Hustler Hacks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, people can also find you on Instagram, correct?
Yes, at Hustler Hacks.
Okay, and then you said podcast, which is the Merch Minds thing, correct?
Merch Minds podcast, yes, sir. Okay,
where you talk about merch and you pretty much dissect it. How many podcast episodes do you have by now?
I think we're like at 31. Ming Young started, I think, like late last year. It's been like really, really good. We've had over like 60,000 downloads. Like it happened like way more than we like really thought it would. Like it kind of just exploded. I think with like people getting into merch, like a lot of questions, everything. So we do like one episode a week, and it's been pretty awesome so far.
Okay, cool. And by the way, I like your top shelf.
Oh yeah,
the top shelf is that's the shelf I call when your house goes for an estate sale or whatever. I call that top shelf. I know I can see it from here.
Yeah, yeah. That's the garage sale finds, and then they kind of build up. So I need to dust them. They're a little dusty.
Yeah, and we're gonna get to your shoe hustle too, because to the left on your picture, from the way people are viewing it, you got some pretty cool shoes. And is that your collection, or is that stuff that needs to go to market?
No, that's the collection, but I was thinking about selling quite a bit of them, but I need to get to that.
Okay. And you did talk about that on your YouTube video, right? That you were
yeah, I need to get on selling some of that stuff.
Okay, cool. Where do you reside, so people can kind of understand like how your hustle evolved? Like, where are you hustling? Because everyone hustles in different places. Some places better than others. But where are you hustling from?
El Paso, Texas. So I'm out like middle of the desert. We don't have much going on. I think Chris kind of laughed because during my like New York vlog, I do like a comparison between like New York and El Paso, and it's pretty much just like dirt. But that's like what we have is dirt.
That was the funniest comparison on that video. You showed this like bustling city and everyone's walking all over the place and all these billboards and like neon stuff, and then you're like El Paso, that's just like a bush, and like there was nothing else, and dirt. Anyway, it was pretty cool. Rakin, have you been through El Paso on your journey to the west?
Yeah, I actually did my first time when I was on my trip about a year ago, and Glenn and I actually met up. There is nothing out there. I was frightened to death that what would happen if my car broke down, because there's like nothing. Am I going to get murdered? Like, am I going to get eaten by some rare desert animal? I didn't know.
Glenn will probably rescue you.
Am I going to be in Mexico? Like, what's going on? I'm like, don't worry about it.
That's another video right there.
Over a bridge, like you're fine. He's like, can I get like vegan fajitas? I'm like, dude, vegan fajitas? Like, there's no meat. Like,
dude, it was like a war zone over there, man. Like, it's like a beautiful, like, nice, beautiful area, and then like 10 feet away, it's just like huts and like poverty, and like it was actually pretty sad to see the whole thing. It was crazy.
Yeah, the 10 feet is an exaggeration, but it's very close. There's like the city. It's basically the USA.
It feels like
river,
yeah, it's
and then
miles away.
But anyways, so yeah, Glen's from El Paso, guys. So I mean, the hustle can be done from all sides, and you're gonna get to in the show, you're gonna get some bird's eye view on really how Glen's hustle is and how it evolved over the years, because it's actually quite fascinating. So, anyways, tell us about your channel, because your channel started a year and a half ago, Glen. What was it? 2 years ago?
Um, yeah, I think it's when I got kind of serious about it. I was like, I'm gonna do one video a week for sure, and that's when I really got serious about it. I started maybe like 5 years ago or something, just doing
Five
like
years
shoe
ago.
stuff. Yeah, I did like shoe stuff for like a couple of months, and then I gave up. I was like this is getting way too hard to like edit all these videos, do all this stuff. So I gave up for like 3 years, and then I came back. So, and then we met up. I messaged Chris in a green room. So if anybody wants to see it, you can go back to Chris's channel 2 years ago. There's a video called "Making Money with a Green Roomer." That's like my first Hustler Hacks appearance.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dang, dude, I got no money for that video, by the way, from you. You got so popular, I got zero cash. Dude. I could demand my bona fide royalties here. So okay, so your channel started. It seems like it got a lot of traction. Raken, in the past year, it seems like his channel just like exploded, right?
Yeah, I think he found his sweet spot with his audience, which is always a challenge, starting a YouTube channel, and he did a really good job with it.
Yeah, he definitely did. So, and by the way, let's go into the feed for 1 second because we talked about him being in El Paso. Raken's in Connecticut. I'm in Texas. Where are you guys from? Where are you guys tuning in from? Please comment there on the comment feed. It's a live show. And also, if you are a part of the Green Room, I want to see you just type in GR in the feed. Now, let's talk about your typical day. Because now, before we get to the typical day, it's important to note that you are a graphic designer, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yep, and you assist your parents' company as well. Is that how I understand it? Right?
Yes.
With
yes.
graphic design and like web work and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2 years ago, when you and I were in the hot seat in the Cheddar Mobile, like you were doing FBA and you were like sending all kinds of crazy stuff in. I was like, dang man, like Glenn is sending in everything to FBA and like things that I was sending off to eBay, like he was sending off to FBA. More importantly, like video games and randoms. And so it was pretty interesting. To see your hustle then. Now your hustle's evolved. You have merch, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And you do the shoe thing as well, right?
Yeah, eBay mostly.
Yep. Right. Okay. So you have all kinds of avenues open, and you do contract work for other people. Anyone wants some like banners built for their channels, shirt designs. You've done things like that as well.
Yeah, I'll do like freelance stuff for them. And then let's see, like the YouTube stuff, that's like the least amount of money coming in. The family business, I'm doing like a little bit. I'm trying to like decrease hours little by little and focus more, of course, on merch, eBay, tiny little bit of FBA. But since merch came out, it's been kind of like a transition, FBA to merch, kind of focusing my attention towards that. So.
Okay, I think Glenn, I think you are clearly more busy than Raken here. So I thought Raken was the busiest guy in the whole house here on YouTube, but clearly I think you might have beat him out. So anyway,
You never know.
I know he's done a lot of work for us in the Green Room in the past hangouts. He's built a lot of graphics for us. So our relationship with Glenn has gone back way back, and it did start with that ride in the Cheddar Mobile, which I haven't got my royalties for yet. So your typical day. Now that we know what you do, describe your typical day for us real quick.
So I usually go with the family business. I'm there from like 8 to 12. And then now after that, from 12 to 5, now I'm like purely merch. After that, now I'm starting to, I'll take pictures, I'll do listings for eBay, or we'll do the podcast. So that's one episode a week. So I make time for that. Wednesdays, I try to do a live show, try to mix that in for the channel. And then weekends, I'm like, I'll do like swap meet, all that stuff Saturday morning, get up early. And then the rest of the day, usually Saturday, is like pure editing. So I can get out at least like 3 videos a week. So that's usually how it goes.
You're a busy guy, and you recently got married, bought a house, and life is good, right?
Yep, life is good.
Life is good in the town that doesn't like vegan people. I don't think Raken's vegan anymore, but anyway, let's talk about now. Let's talk about the income that you make from. Oh no, okay. Let's backtrack a little bit. You do make good money on merch, eBay, a little bit on graphic design, correct?
Mm-hmm,
It's fair to say that you make more than your parents' business money. You're like, that's a fair statement, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's talk about merch real quick. And Raken has got a ton of questions. I think he wants to. This is a bad word. He wants to probe you with these questions. Okay.
Why'd you have to choose that word?
I don't know. I thought about not saying it, but I was like, forget it. I'm going to say it. So let's talk about merch. How hard is it to now join merch? Because this is kind of get tossed around there. a lot of people are like, I'm still waiting to get in. I'm still, I want to join on this opportunity. How hard is it now to join merch to get this opportunity?
Some people have gotten like maybe like 3 months. Some people it's taken like 8 months. The dude that I go to the post office with, his name's Derek. I say what's up to him all the time. He's been waiting for maybe like 11 months. I guess it just depends. Like, I don't know. Like some people have gotten in, I think 3 months is like the least amount of time I've ever heard, at least lately. But I think a year has been like the longest I've heard someone wait to get in.
Rakin, are you waiting on your second round in? Yeah.
So my story is I'd gotten approved on 2 different accounts because I've got a couple different LLCs. So I just applied on all of them, and I ended up getting. It took like 3 or 4 months, and I got approved on both. And then I just let it sit for like 3 months, and then they suspended both my accounts because they actually came through and swept out all the accounts that didn't have active merch uploads. But recently, my mother, she just got approved, and I'm uploading a lot of my Shopify designs to her store. And what I wanted to ask you, Glenn, was she's capped off at 10 designs.
Okay.
And I'm in a single niche right now. The niche I'm in isn't super like popular. It's got a diehard it's got a diehard following, but it's not super popular, like overwhelming kind of like following. So the question is, if you were just getting started brand new and you could only upload 2 shirts a day and you had a 10 shirt cap, what would your advice be for my mother and I?
I'd probably say to get out of the like niche to start off, because that's going to be more like long tail to kind of like focus on those, because that's probably down the road. Once you tier up, you have a little bit more room to kind of mess with. I'd probably say start off with like trending topics, because that stuff can kind of get some sales going a little bit. So your main goal at being at 10 is that you want to tier up. Like that's the main thing you want to do. Don't worry about sales. Don't worry about making money in the beginning. You want to tier up. You want to get to 25, then you want to get to 100. So focus on trending stuff. Of course, Mother's Day is coming up. Holidays, things like that are coming up very, very soon. You want to focus on those first so that you can get those sales kind of snowballing.
Okay. So that's interesting. So Mother's Day, then you have high school graduation, right? Class of whatever.
Father's Day. So those are probably like the next ones you really want to focus on.
And then like senior trip. Are you ever making any of those kind of things?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, senior trip.
Senior trip shirts? Yes or no? Have you sold any senior trip shirts?
Nothing yet.
Okay.
Family vacation stuff too. A lot of like summer type of theme things. You can kind of do that, but yeah, those will do good.
Okay. So that's interesting.
Can I jump with one more question?
Yeah.
So we've uploaded 6 shirts so far out of the 10. Can you go back and delete shirts and then go, delete all 6 and then you can upload 2 again? Is it okay to delete designs up, or is it once they're all up, Glenn, you're kind of stuck with them?
No, you can remove them and then you can start again if you wanted to. It's even if you wanted to test them out for like 2 weeks, if they don't sell, you can remove them and then get like another 2 in there. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
What if you create a shirt that you actually like a lot? Can you get a sample that's not the same amount as like what a normal person would get charged, Glenn?
Yeah, you can get a sample. I think you could do it probably for like $10.99. Get it shipped, Amazon Prime, free shipping. It's probably your cheapest option.
So yeah, one of the reasons why Rakin's initial merch thing perished is he, like you said, he didn't put any activity into it, right?
Yeah. If you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah, exactly. You don't lose it, you lose it. I happened to, and I did not know that this was going to happen, but I happened to put the very first edition 1 Green Room shirts on mine. That
Son of a gun.
And I'm not making any money on it. I make like 1 or 2 pennies on each one. The whole purpose was to actually brand the Green Room and give the roomers a nice shirt where we don't make any cash off of it, and they could still show up to the meetup with it. And plenty of people did buy the shirts. Mm-hmm. But that alone kept my merch account active. Rakin, I should have given you like half of them, man.
We didn't know that. What are you tiered up to?
100 right now. I'm at 100. I know. So anyway, and
I'm going to implode.
I sold only 2 shirts last week, and they weren't even like Green Room related. They weren't Bonafide Hustler related. They were weird stuff related, like really dumb things that were like, it's hot in this culture. Like this culture says these words like sometimes AF or fresh or, like there's these weird sayings and they use these like, I'm talking about, Glenn, right?
Yeah.
So I sold 2 random shirts last week that I have in my store, and they're really dumb, but I created them like a year ago. It's so weird. So anyway, that's pretty interesting. So is it a hard opportunity, Glenn, once you get approved, and now you gave that advice, which is like, pay attention to upcoming trends. Is it hard to make a shirt? I mean, in a non-graphic designer, like step back from all your education and go, could I have done this, or can I do this without graphic design?
I think for sure. I think probably a good example is like the Treasure Gnome. He's also on YouTube. He doesn't have any background in graphic design. He learned Illustrator and started just creating his own design. So he was doing really good on that. I think with like Udemy and all these courses, you can just learn, to do Illustrator. And then now you can get Illustrator by paying 15 to 20 bucks a month or something. So now it's like, back then you'd have to buy the full program and it was super expensive. So now it's like I think it's easier for everybody to just kind of get that and then go watch the tutorials and learn.
Yeah,
so
the tutorials are even, they have Udemy, which you can pay like $10 for like a really awesome tutorial. They have Terry White, who's on YouTube. He's a guy with a pad, and he like walks you through the whole Adobe thing. Yeah, it's like an hour-long video, but that's pretty good to start. But the reason why I'm saying this is because twofold. One is you can rent the Adobe program already, right? $20, you essentially lease it. You're renting it, and it's in your computer, the newest version all the time. That's the Illustrator one, right? The second thing is, how many of your designs we're not gonna talk about the money you make just yet, but how many designs do you have up right now?
Like 1,900.
Holy moly. Okay. So out of the 1,900, how many are text-based? Without like squiggly lines or stupid things or graphics, like how many just have text and that's all? What percentage?
I'd probably say at least like 1,200 out of those 1,900 are just text.
Wow.
Yeah. So you don't need a whole, my point is you don't need a ton of knowledge to get into the game, right?
No, simple, bold, clean is like the best way to approach it.
Okay, cool. So
what's
bold and clean real quick? What's the font? If you were an illustrator, what font are you like, that's pretty good? What's the one you would say?
I guess like going through graphic design school, like Helvetica is always popular.
Okay.
Trade Gothic or, things like that. Very, very clean, bold designs.
Okay, so Helvetica. I think we all have seen that one.
Yeah.
Reckon, go ahead. You had a question.
Sure. I was going to go back to, because you were talking about doing the designs yourself. Say you're going to outsource to somebody, because I'm not super creative, like when it comes to graphics and stuff. I would have to outsource it. So let's say I follow your advice and I go after trending topics. Let me start with the first part of the question, which is, how do you find out what's trending?
You can go to I guess like on Google Chrome, you can download, what is it? The DS Quick View is what the DS Amazon Quick View. See how some of the shirts are ranking, and you can kind of go and see higher ranking, of course, the better it is. That's probably what's going to help you in the very beginning. Merchresearch.com is also a really good website that Chris Green started, that it really to do the research on shirts, what people are into, different niches, things like that. It's a really, really good site.
So let's just say you find a trending topic. Let's just say we go with Mother's Day, right? It's coming up. How do you go from, okay, I've got a trend, Mother's Day, it's coming up, it's trending, people are interested in it, to actually having that idea brought to the designer? Like, what advice would you give to me? Do I go to my designer and say, hey, let's just say you were doing a design for me. Hey, Glenn, I want you to make a shirt on Mother's Day. Or is it better to come to you and say, hey, Glenn, I want something on Mother's Day. Here's 3 shirts that are selling really well. Make something similar to this, but not copy it. What's the white hat way to do it?
I could probably say you could do both. It's just I guess you really got to be picky on how you tell them, like, here's 3 shirts. I really like the general idea. I want you to use like the slogan or terms from this shirt, because you can look that up, see if it's trademarked or not. But create your own design. You can use these words, you can use a slogan, just make sure the design is original. And then let's see what the designer would come back with.
Cool. Thank you.
So that's a way to do it where you involve more of like a designer VA kind of thing, right, Raken? Is that what you're talking about? Where you don't do the design anymore?
Yeah.
Like you're trying to outsource the thing a little bit, right?
Yeah, I would rather just come up with 5 or 10 ideas, put it all on a Google sheet, share it with the designer, and have it go that way. Because it would just take me too much time. It just wouldn't be worth it for me, because I just don't have the ability. I know it.
Okay. There's a question, it's a remark from Aaron Atkins. How long does it take to get approved? I applied a few weeks ago, and I haven't heard anything from Amazon. There is no concrete rule right now, Glenn, on how they're selecting people whatsoever, right?
Yeah, nothing that I know of.
Right, and there's no real. I mean, there are some rules when you get tiered up, but there's no rules on upload frequency or stuff like that either. Correct? Like some people are
No.
limited to 2, some are 4. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's
Yeah,
different.
I think once you sell more and you tier up, like you'll have more to work with. But I think everyone's kind of starting off at like 2 per day until you kind of move up and build up.
Okay. What is the so once you for the beginners that are out there that are watching right now, they start with 10. Like they get approved and they're like, holy crap, I got approved for merch. They go in, they get the Illustrator thing, they start messing around with some font-based text and some very good trendy stuff. They upload their first thing. I think, do you get 1 a day until you reach 10, or do you get 2 a day until you reach 10? What do you think?
I think Steve right now is at 2 per day.
2 per day.
So,
okay, 2 per day until you get to 10. Then you get to 10, and then how many do you have to sell to get to the next level? What do you think it is?
I think you have to sell those 10, and then you can move up to 25.
Is it instant, or is it like, do you qualify in a sense?
Yeah, you kind of have to qualify. I think they kind of do it at the same time. I think they kind of tier people up, and do the upload thing per day. I think at the same time every month or so.
Yeah, you'll just notice it one day. Like when you go log in, you'll just be like, holy, whoa, what the hell? Like, so it's 25. Then what's the next number after that? 50, then 100, or 100 after that?
I think it is 50 and then 100.
Man, that's cool. And then once you sell 100 shirts, is there another one, or?
It used to be 200 and then I went to 500, but I don't know if it's changed since then. It might have, but
okay.
I think most of the people that I know, I think are like at 500. Some have got tiered up to 1,000, but I don't know. I don't know between that 100 to 200 range.
Okay. There's a good question that just came in from In the Sun asking, can you get your friends to buy 1 shirt each for the first 10?
Yeah, you can even have them buy just 1 shirt 10 times if you want. And then you're good to go. You can move up from there.
Wow, just put it at a super cheap price. Do you think that it's smart not to, like, for example, like not to be on the same IP address, with Amazon and everything, have it a different IP address buying it?
I don't think it would. No, I don't think it would matter. Because they tell you too on the terms that you can buy your own shirt if you wanted to. So let's say even if you wanted to do like Rake and Profit shirt and you bought 10 because you were gonna give them away locally, then that's fine. Like you could do that.
Oh, interesting.
I guess we're gonna have a Rake and Profit shirt.
The wheels are spinning. I'm not gonna lie right now. if I'm not looking at the camera, I'm thinking.
All right. So Glenn, now that you've done it for over merch, how long have you done merch collectively right now? 1.5 years, 2 years? What was it?
Probably like 1.5 years. I think I started like when merch was like 3 months old, 4 months old, around there.
All right. So you guys in the feed right now, get ready to type in holy crap, okay? I'm not even kidding, okay? Holy and then crap. Because, Glenn, on average a month, how much do you make from merch right now? Just merch.
Just merch profit ranging is like 5,000, 6,000. Yeah.
Holy crap.
That's like insane if you think about it. That is crazy. That leads me to my next question, right? And now that you've done it for 1.5 years, you clearly know some things that you didn't do right. There's some mistakes, there's some inefficiencies. So what are 3 tips that you can give people that are starting now? Like, I don't want them to go down my road. Here's just like here's some 3 tips that will save your butt with merch, save you time. What would those 3 tips be, Glenn?
First one, I'd probably say like, just don't get too attached to like one design thinking that it's like the best design ever. Like you just want to get something out there, and kind of like what I was telling Steve, like the first couple of weeks too is going to be like a lot of testing, like a lot of trial and error. Are these shirts selling? How can I improve them? What's wrong with them? Why aren't they selling? Can I market them? You don't have to market. I've done all of this has been organic. I haven't done any like marketing on social media. I don't show any of the shirts on, my Instagram or none of that stuff. That would help you, I think, to sell, of course, but you don't have to do it. So that would probably help, I guess, just in general. Just don't be attached to it. Just get it out there, see what happens, do some trial and error, and mix those out. I would also try to do, like I said to Steve, trending ideas. Do that first. Don't try to go deep into golf shirts first or surfing niche based stuff, you can do that way later on. That's later on when you're cheered up. Another thing too is probably just to get like a good relationship with a designer. If you're not going to do it yourself, then have a good relationship with a designer. Try to get the best deal you can possible. You have that relationship. They can knock out all 10 in the very beginning. You don't have to worry about that. Make sure you have it. If you do 2 per day, hit those 2 per day. Don't slack off on those days. If they're giving you the opportunity to do 2, then fill up the 2.
All right. Are you still offering your services for merch, or have you kind of gotten away from that?
I'm still doing it a little bit. I'm trying to, I guess, build up and focus more on my own merch, but I'll still do it if someone really needs the help on it.
Don't be surprised if you get a private message from this rake and profit guy.
The funny thing is when you said that number, like, first of all, 2 things. One, you said your average about 5 to 6, right? Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What's been your highest month, right? So that's the average. What's the highest month been?
December 2016 was 9,800, and I was like, I know.
Dude, how many orders did you actually have to fulfill yourself and ship to the customer out of those $9,800 in profits?
That's crazy, right? 0, which is why I was like, I love FBA, but not having to stick labels on anything, ship anything out. And the crazy
how many damaged items did you have?
Right? And the crazy thing is,
how much of the 9,800 went to your bank account? Let me ask you that.
All 9,800.
All 9,800, no fees, no nothing. Like, think about it for a second, guys. Like, that's crazy.
And it's crazy too that it's still free to join per month. I mean, you're not paying any fees yet either, which will probably happen down the road. But as far as right now, none of that either.
Yeah, I say definitely get in, not only for the opportunity to make some merch shirts, and if it does well or not, that's great. It's all the other stuff that it can open up later, sweatshirts, mugs, all this cool stuff that this is just t-shirts, guys. Like, think about if your designs were on all this other stuff, hoodies, and then what if you had to pay $20 a month to engage with hoodies and ungate yourself on mugs and ungate yourself on pens, and you can get these sayings put on there. It's an incredible opportunity if you think
they're just in like
a beta stage. No, they're in a beta stage of this. There's only 2 types of shirts. Is it Bella Canvas or no? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bella Canvas. And what's the other one?
Anvil. Okay, so and Bella Canvas replaced AA, right? Is that what was right? Okay. American Apparel's gone. Bella Canvas is in, which is still a pretty good shirt. But it's really easy. It's pretty, for being a beta program, it's pretty easy to upload a shirt. Glenn, you do this all the time, but I don't, and I've done it. And it is really easy to upload a shirt. There's some keywords. You put a title of like essentially what the store is called, right? You can make a different store for a group of shirts, right? Yeah.
Right. And so our green room one is called official green room merchandise. You click that, and you come across 4. But you will never be able to see my other shirts from that page. Does that make sense? Right, Glenn?
Mm-hmm.
So you wouldn't be able to see any of the ones that Raken makes or I make or anyone else makes. But if you have certain themes to some of your clothing, you can put them in their own stores that can hyperlink to each other, right?
Yeah, you can do that. And that's what's good later on, is that when you have your certain niches, then yeah, you can separate, your golf tees, surfing tees, bacon tees, and they're all different, have their own like store name. And then if anybody sees like a certain shirt they like, they can click on the store, see the other ones that are, in that same niche. Then you can kind of, hopefully build up some sales once they get like similar products.
Yeah, they might have like wanted that shirt, and then they see another one they wanted, and it's like, dang, now I get 2 sales out of a single customer that was just looking for 1 shirt. All kinds of interesting things. We got to move on to the next part of the show about the Marshalls and Ross stuff. So if you guys watch the Hustler Hacks channel, this dude is like mad crazy about shoes, buying them from Ross, buying them from Marshalls. You're doing most of the flips to eBay. Am I right about this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Now does this require any amount of Instagram marketing? This part that you're doing?
No.
Okay, so you go to Ross, you go to Marshalls. If you look at his videos, I mean, there's so many like shoes and jerseys. Like you hustle anything, like, but a lot of shoes, right, Glenn?
Yeah, most of the shoes. I think one of the videos I did, like, I took the GoPro into Ross. I like got some funny comments because I was like scanning sports bras, and they're like, "What's the deal with this dude? Like, sports bras, really?" And I'm like, "Dude, you can make money from it. Like, what?" So that was for FBA, but most of the time Ross, like, I'll scan toys. Most of it does come from shoes, but a lot of good like clothing opportunities for sure.
Okay. These clothing opportunities, they can find their ways on FBA or eBay, right? Too,
Yeah.
right? It's either
Most
or.
of it, yeah, but most of it's probably going to be better for eBay.
Okay. And Ross inventory varies across the country too, right? So you might be coming across something that's just totally rare that somehow that Ross got it, but no other Rosses might have it, right?
Yeah, that's like the crazy thing. It's almost like thrifting in a regular retail store because you just like never know what they're going to have.
That's interesting. So in a crazy anti-vegan place like El Paso, I'm just kidding. I have to keep saying it because it's just funny how Reagan goes there, asks for vegan fajitas, and no one wants to like help him with sugar. Anyway, I think it's kind of funny, but no slam against vegans. I mean, it's a healthy lifestyle. But it's just funny. It's still funny though because it's Reagan.
I go to a steakhouse asking for a vegan steak in Texas.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. So you go into Ross, and Marshalls is it owned by Ross, or do they own each other? Yes or no?
Marshalls is part of TJ Maxx and Home Goods.
Home Goods. Okay, cool. So when you go to Marshalls, are you hustling kind of the same items from Marshalls as well?
Yeah, pretty much the same. They don't have, I mean, their men's shoes and women's shoes are probably better for FBA because they come with a box. So that does help you if you are ungated for that stuff for FBA. Ross, they don't have the box. They're just put them on the shelf. So most of that stuff, brand new without the box, is better for eBay.
Yeah. What's about the ROI that you look for when you go into, I mean, obviously you have 100% ROI or more when you deal with merch, you're dealing with like crazy ROI, really. It's just the amount of hours you put in during the week, and then your ROI is pretty incredible. But when you go into a Ross, into a Marshalls, what is going on in your head? Like, what kind of ROI are you looking to find?
I'm trying to get at least like 40% or more. I think that's like kind of like standard for me for any of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm going to spend $40-$50 on shoes, I want to make at least 40% ROI on that stuff.
And in order to make 40%, are you sticking with really good brands like Nike and Spider Jackets and random stuff?
Jordan, yeah, stuff like that.
Okay.
A lot of Nike stuff, pretty much.
What's the best find you've ever found from a Ross, brand new, without the? I mean, obviously they don't have boxes on Ross, but like, what's the best thing you're like, dude? How the hell did this thing end up here?
That was Jordan 6s that I got for $50 and I resold them for $350. That one was on eBay. That was like, I don't know why these are here. But as far as like the recent stuff, so every week I do like Ross finds of the week. And so I'll show people like different cool stuff you can get for your own, that's a collection. That's a pretty good deal. Things you should just pass on entirely. And then at the very end, I'll do like one find per week that I picked up and that I'm selling on eBay. And then if I did sell it, then I'll let everybody know. You can see my completed listing and things like that to see what it's sold for. But I do that every single week. And there's always something crazy that randomly shows up every single week. Like, I don't even understand how Ross gets certain items, but I'm super pumped that they do.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So doesn't it make you just want to go to a Ross and be like, all right, what the hell am I missing here? Like, I flipped stuff from Ross before, but I think the last thing I flipped from Ross on eBay was Adidas Stan Smith. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Some Adidas Stan Smith something with like, I got like 20% ROI. I don't know if it was worth my time, and they also stayed probably 6 months in my store. That leads me to my next question. So you're shooting for 40% ROI, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's the timeline? Like, what's the ideal Hustler Hacks timeline for this thing to sell on eBay?
I mean, if I can sell it within the month, 30 days, I think that's good. Some stuff does linger on to like the next month, which kind of sucks. But most of the time within the month, I think it's really good. I just want to keep, the price competitive, do the research, make sure it is going to sell. And of course, great pictures and things like that. I think some of the later ones, Ross finds of the week, I know they had, let's see, like Nike Dunk. I don't remember that shoe, but Nike Dunk chicken and waffles is what the theme was. So they kind of had like this waffle type of like look to them. And those were $39.99. I resold those.
Like the
whole outer side of the shoe had like,
looked like a waffle
material. Yeah. On the Nike Dunk. $39.99. I resold those on eBay for $149.
Jeez.
And those only took like a week to sell. I found like these like soccer shorts. They were $20. I was like, I don't know. I've seen them before. I mean, I've seen like the kind of like brand style before. Didn't really think a lot of it. Did the research. I sold one for 75, the other one for 99. And
Wow.
those are
That's
really,
pretty
really
amazing.
good finds. Yeah, for raw stuff.
Were those baller shorts? Like people that are they going to ball in it? Or are they? This is like some other type of running short. Is it like Umbros? Like what kind of shorts were these?
They were like soccer, I guess, like training shorts, that practice shorts that I guess for. They kind of have like it's like a real Bristol. They have like a not like a made up team, but it's kind of like a funny type of art type of thing that Nike has. And retail on those was like super high. I think, oh man, I think they were like 150 or I don't know. They were around there. They were really, really high, but they were $20 at Ross. I found 2 pairs, so I picked up those.
I just got the best idea in my head. Raken, you ready?
Let's hear it.
Talking about like this like pre-training short, right? What if we had like a pre-hustling attire? Like you wear it in the morning, you get in your car, and then as soon as you get out of your car, you strip in the parking lot down to like this like super fast material that lets you go through the aisles real fast. Anyway, man.
Hey, we might have to start up our own private label brand for it, man.
Man, dude, that wouldn't ever make it to Ross. Everyone would buy that.
In your bona fide dreams.
We need a pre-cheddar like outfit, dude. Okay, so now it's funny that you go to Ross and Marshalls, and I say it funny, not in a slight Glen way, but I think it's funny because a lot of people do shoot things with FBA from outlets, right? You've heard about that hustle. Mm-hmm. Do you ever do that hustle? And if not, why?
I used to do like really good outlet flips FBA from like Nike Outlet and all that. Once they had their whole deal with like Birkenstock and they went through people being, ungated, all that stuff with Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, I was good to go. I was selling Nike shoes, and then all of a sudden when all that stuff happened, I was like, oh man, like I got gated on Nike. Like I couldn't sell any of that stuff. And then so I was like, well, I'm doing merch anyway. Like it's fine. Like it's not like a huge deal to me. So then later on, I went to the outlet maybe like 4 months after that. I started just scanning randomly. And then I was like, I was fine, like on Nike again. What? But I wasn't good to go on Adidas and Under Armour, only Nike. And maybe just because I'd already been selling it. So I guess they kind of grandfathered me in. So I don't know. I still am ungated for Nike stuff for shoes, and that's where I got stuff from the outlet. But it's been a while since I've, sent stuff out.
Is the outlet far from your house?
Probably like a good 25 minutes, sometimes 30 minutes. So it is kind of far, a little bit.
We got people in the green room that are filling up their cars with stuff from the outlet.
Yeah.
To the point where they're endangering their lives. Like you can't see through the rear view anymore. Like,
cars? We have people with big vans, like renting out like Penskes and stuff.
No, that's a fact. I remember having coffee with Mr. Jason Clark, who shows up in a Penske truck, all right, to do that kind of stuff. And I was like, well, I guess the proof is in the pudding, right? And his worker was there too. But yeah, there are people doing that hustle. This is one of those things, Glenn. Does it just not appeal to you? And you're just like, I like doing this better, or I can't film in the Nike store. Like, what's going through your head? Because if it can be replicated, you're the kind of guy who sees money and goes, if I can do this over and over and it's easy, I'll do it. So I'm curious why the Ross and Marshalls hustle versus not the outlet shoe hustle.
I guess because the outlet stuff is kind of like really hit or miss, and especially because it's so far away. I only have one outlet store, and even our outlet isn't as good as like some of the ones I've seen. California, and even probably the San Marcos one is probably better than the one we have. And then Ross, we have like at least like 7 Rosses that I could probably go to that are like not that hard to get to. We have more Rosses than thrift stores probably in this town for some weird reason.
I think they figured out where you live, Glenn, and they built their stores around you.
Honey hole.
So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take, the best opportunity of what I have. So I'm going to, and I'd always been kind of shopping there, kind of like looking around and flipping stuff from Ross. And then I was like, you know what? Take it seriously. Doing like a whole week, every week, doing a video on Ross finds. Like it's been consistent for quite a while. So, I mean, it's been really good.
Yeah. You have almost like a Paul Cantu esque filming thing. Like when you go into Ross, you're talking about, and people see you flipping the tag and everything, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, this is a pass, or this was definitely like, I bought it. seen your videos, man. That's pretty cool. So definitely check out his channel, Hustler Hacks, on YouTube. Really, really
Great
important channel. Check it out. A channel that's here to stay as well. Getting uploaded, what, 1 or 2 uploads a week minimum right now?
I try to do like, I'll get like 2. I'll do like a haul video type thing for like Monday, Wednesday. I try to do a live video. Friday, I do my Ross finds of the week. So.
Okay, cool. So you got to check out his channel. You have to check it out. What was I going to do here? Okay, so we have to break for a second, see if there's anything in the feed going on here. And Raken,
yes, sir.
We have people that are asking, should we like the video or not? Oh, I don't know, man.
Man, I've been telling people to just smash it, to blow it up, to yeah. Be sure to hit the like button. We have 182 people watching live right now. So if you guys are enjoying this free content and learning something, and you're able to take one of the gold nuggets and apply it, whether it's merch by Amazon or Ross, hit the like button, guys, because if you want this content coming from not only us but other content creators, you got to show some love. So we would definitely appreciate that.
Got 2 amazing comments right here. One's from Team Tycoons. Glenn should be on the show more. Great content, great group. Y'all work really well together. It's because we bust each other's, you know what's like. We're cool like that. We've known Glenn for a very long time, like what seems to be a very long time. And anyways, we've given him plenty of business, and he's given us plenty of discounts. So it's a really good like relationship that we've built with Glenn. Plus, if you ever get the chance to meet Glenn in real life, he's a lot of fun. He's a lot of fun to hang out with, and he's you're a good garage saler. Glenn, do you ever go to garage sales in El Paso still, ever?
I haven't done it in a while, but me and my friend, when we like first started going to garage sales, like, cause he got married, he disappeared off of Earth. I don't know what happened to him. And then he came back, and I was like, hey, what happened? What's going on? And he's like, yeah, I want to get back into eBay, all that stuff. So I think this summer we're going to attack garage sales again, just like we used to. So yeah, it's going to be pretty cool to get back into that.
The tornado in the desert, man. Both of y'all.
I had something real quick though that maybe some people don't really know about. We talked about it last time, like on my channel. So eBay made a change. I don't know if you guys know this, but like items that are brand new without the box, let's say for shoes, for example, on iPhone, it comes out as nearly new.
I saw that. I began some
brand new without the box, which is like, what is going on? I was like, what is nearly new? Like, what does that even mean?
Nearly new.
Yeah. So here's like my example. Like this first shoe is actually my listing. If you can see it on there, it says nearly new instead of like brand new without the box. So we talked about this too, is like if someone's scrolling like on their phone, they're like, what does nearly new mean? That almost makes it sound used.
So you didn't put that in there. It just auto uploaded into your thing?
Yeah, it updated on only iPhone though.
So if you do it on a laptop, it wouldn't have done it. You think?
No, it says brand new without the box.
Oh, that's
I know.
crazy.
So this could really it hasn't really done a whole lot, I guess, like on my end, because I did sell some shoes recently. But I think if people maybe don't really know about it, I think clearing clutter for clarity. There she is. I saw her in the chat. She was telling me like you should probably do brand new without the box on your title, which I was like, it kind of sucks because you're taking away characters like from your title. But I was like, that is kind of smart though, to at least let them know, like if they don't click on it, at least you can show on there brand new without the box. So that might have helped me, at least for the last ones. I sold like 5 different pairs, but I was like, man, like it's kind of a dumb change, I think, because nearly new doesn't really explain what that is.
On nearly new, do you get the description box? Because I know when you put new stuff, you don't get to put the description box is gone, right? Or no, the immediate description thing is wiped out. Am I correct about that?
It'll still show up, but
There's
they would
one
have
of them
to,
like if you put new, like just new. I know that one of those boxes vanishes, like this other description. I can't. It's hard to explain. Anyway, but you have a chance before they go to the actual description to even type in whatever you want to type in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And if you hustle from Ross, none of these are going to have boxes, right?
Yeah, none of these are going to have boxes. So
Marshall's has the box. Okay.
Yeah, Marshall has the box. So
okay. Wow. Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
It hasn't changed your buying or anything, right?
No, I've still been doing pretty good on there, but that was kind of like, it just kind of randomly showed up like last month maybe. And I was like, what is nearly new? Like I'd never seen that. So I was like, hopefully this doesn't affect sales. Cause if a customer is kind of lazy to like just go into the listing. They're just going to see nearly new and be like, next, keep swiping. But hasn't really affected me yet, but I don't know. Maybe people want to keep that in mind if they're looking for brand new shoes without the box.
Okay. So we talked about your Ross and Marshall strategy and everything like that. You're trying to go in, hit about 40% or so. You do have a bit of a sneakerhead background, sort of, right? Like you appreciate good kicks. Let's put it that way, right? So that helps a lot. When you go to a Ross or a Marshall's, you're pretty quick on your decoding, right? Like you just look really quick and you can pretty much tell like that's worth at least taking a little bit deeper look into. That one, no way, no way, no way. But it's because of your prior knowledge, or you've researched so much now on eBay and random stuff that you kind of know?
I think it's a little bit of both. I kind of knew, I guess, from like collecting shoes and stuff, so it was a little bit easier for me to probably like transition into that and kind of like know a little bit more about them. But of course, if they're not like a shoe or anything that I know, it's very easy for somebody, especially a Nike shoe. They can type in the 9 digits on the inside and the tag. You can search on Google, you can search on eBay, and the exact title of whatever that shoe is will come up. So you can do that too.
Was waffle one of the keywords with that one Nike shoe that you put into the keyword thing?
Oh yeah, chicken waffles.
Chicken waffles. So, it doesn't matter if you mess with shoes or if you mess with clothing like Rakin messes with, but once you get something with a really interesting kind of theme to it, Rakin, what I'm talking about? It could be Patagonia with the Aztec stuff, or even if you look at Nicole State's video last week, she found a Patagonia like chinchilla type thing with turtles on it. And I was like blown away. But those are the kind of things, those are almost guaranteed to be pretty
jackpots,
rare, right? Like jackpots or worth looking into, right, Glenn?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's pretty interesting. When you see that kind of stuff, it's not like an everyday kind of wear thing either. Like someone that's going to buy that will wear it on very special occasions. Same with jackets. Same with it. It's one of those things you don't wear all the time, but it's a special occasion kind of thing. So you pay up for those kind of things. Okay, so let's talk about. Let's switch to Gary Vee. I think this is a very important piece of the whole thing because you got to meet someone really amazing, first of all. But second of all, the opportunity and you capitalizing on it was very interesting in the video you made. So first of all, for anyone that doesn't know who Gary Vee is out there, Glenn, who is Gary Vee to the people in the feed?
He's the future owner of the New York Jets. Gary Vee, he's a hustler, started from selling wine, I guess dad's liquor store. And then eventually, they made, I think, up to like 60 million in sales at one point from doing that. He was one of the first ones like on YouTube. He had daily videos to where people weren't even watching them in the very beginning. It's even kind of weird seeing like those wine library videos now, because like
it is
like him like on like with the table just like trying wine. Like he's like there's nothing else to the video, and he just every day just uploading videos. It's so crazy for how long he did it, like over 1,000 something videos of just tasting wine. And then him and his brother, they started doing their own like media business, VaynerMedia, and then they have a lot of clients they do a lot of social media branding for.
Yes, and he's also known for really amazing keynotes and sometimes random little things. Like, did you see the dumpster one? I told Rakin last 2 weeks ago about
that
the
was
dumpster
a crazy
one.
video about the haters.
About the haters, yeah. And he films it next to a dumpster for a reason. But you got to check out that video. But he has very wild antics. He's very outspoken, cusses a lot. Not a lot, but he's known to use.
Definitely a lot. What are you talking about?
Okay. I seem to be
every 5 minutes.
I'm the only person here who hasn't seen him in real life. Rakin has seen him on a keynote. Yes.
I've met him. Yeah.
You've met him. And then Glenn like got within like 1 foot of the dude. So like, and he was in a room with him for a while. So that's what we want to talk about today, is this experience that led you to be a foot away from Gary Vee, to where you essentially had almost free questions to the guy, right?
Yeah. Everybody had he didn't have any time limits. Ask him whatever you want. Everybody just sitting with him for a good while.
Yeah. I think he's like today's version of who's a really popular guy? Is it Tony Robbins, right? He's like a little bit more Tony Robbins-ish to the people that are like messing with social media. Why are my dogs barking so much? Anyway,
They won't
okay.
stop. I've been to his house. They'll do that for like an hour straight.
Okay, so anyway, yeah. So now that we know who Gary Vee is, you paid a sum to be part of a beta program, right?
Yeah.
Can you explain the value that you anticipated to receive once you paid?
So Gary was doing like a live show on Instagram, and he was talking about how he wanted to do like behind the scenes look at like VaynerMedia. You can see their strategies, what they do to build a brand, how they work, what they do for his channel, everything. So I was like, cool, I'm totally interested in it. But he was like, it's gonna cost 10K a person if you're interested in it. And of course, like I think there was like 1,200 people watching or 1,800 people watching at the time. And of course, you have everybody in the feed. They're like, I'm in, I'm in, I'm in. And then like once it came out, he was like, all right, I'm gonna send out the email to a certain amount of people that did send me the email. You had to put like 10K in the subject. He sent it out, and I was like, oh crap, like I got the email from him. And then it had all the details. I was like, all right, either I'm going to do this or I'm just going to sit and do nothing. So
this is $10,000.
$10,000
of your money, correct?
Yeah.
Out of
my
your
merch
bank
money.
account.
Yeah.
Going to
month and a half of merch.
Going to a guy, well, who's very popular, but like, yeah, going to a guy who this is your idol, right? At this point, right? Kind of.
Yeah, it's like my favorite YouTube channel. Only thing, I mean, especially like working on merch shirts, just listening to his keynotes over and over pretty much.
Okay, so you get the email, you think this is it, it's go time, right?
Yeah.
And you pay.
I paid, and the weird thing was when I got the link, I clicked on it and like 3 tickets were already gone. And I was like, oh man, like I better move on this pretty quick.
How many tickets were being sold to this thing?
It was only 10. There's only like a first 10 people.
Wow, that's limited.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the Sun by the Beach says 10K is a lot of merch shirts. Well, it's basically Glen's December payment, right? No,
bye December.
Yeah, see you later, December. Work for nothing. No. But no, we're about to get to the value portion of it because this is really interesting. If you check out his Hustler Hacks channel, he vlogs the entire thing. Now, there are some things that we cannot discuss here on the show. You had to sign some stuff with VaynerMedia that you
like 5 contracts.
Yeah, you had to sign some things because, yeah, clearly. But let's talk about the stuff that you can talk about. Is the program going to be repeated? What do you think? Don't know.
he has like several of them, I guess, that are coming out slowly, but he's not going to be a part of them, which that's kind of like, like if I'm going to go to VaynerMedia, like I want to meet Gary. Like that's like going to like Disneyland and like Mickey's not even there.
He
like,
outsourced it.
Yeah. Like that's going to be super tough, I think, to like get people to kind of buy into that. I mean, don't get me wrong, like the value, all the stuff is there, but I mean, you want to meet him. I mean, that he is the face of the company. So
yeah. So now that you get to New York City, you find your way to VaynerMedia, right?
Mm-hmm.
I saw the video. So like, and then you get off the elevator. First of all, they give you like this clearance card, right?
Yeah. That
allows you to walk through little like things that are right below the elevators, right? Or right before
like
the elevators.
Super fancy building. Yeah.
Yeah. Like this is like the whole 9 yards. It's like it's like Wall Street, not Wolf of Wall Street, but actually Wall Street movie. You get this. It's pretty crazy looking. So you get up, the elevator's open. It's pretty much VaynerMedia, right?
Yeah.
Like right there.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Elevator door is open. VaynerMedia is right there. You're moments away from meeting like your idol. Are you like freaking out a little bit? Are you super calm? Like, do you have your questions rehearsed in your head? Do you have a piece of paper with you? What's going on?
I didn't have like a whole lot, I guess, rehearsed. Like I just wanted to like meet him and see what happens. I guess because I mean, Gary's like, if you're full of crap, like he'll tell you you're full of crap, and like he notices if you're full of crap. So like, I guess on my end, I was like, well, I got nothing to hide. Like I'm not everything that I even talked about, even like on my channel or who I am or anything. Like that's just who I am. So I can think like, you know, if you are, then maybe you'd be a little bit nervous if he was just kind of like asking you things you haven't done in your business, which he did do that to like some people, and he's like, you haven't done it, have you? And he's like, no. He's like, yeah, I know you didn't do it. So like he'll call people out like that. But
And it's not being rude. This is the way he is. Like,
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
the
that's
way
just
this guy is, man.
yeah, that's just the way that he is. And so I wasn't super nervous. Like first when I walked in, like D-Rock walked in like almost right after, and I was like, oh, D-Rock, like, and he just like went to go work on stuff. But it was pretty cool. I mean, they did kind of like a full type of interview thing, and so we're mostly doing that for like a good while of the morning, and then later on is like when we got to meet with Gary and everything.
Okay, so it was a 1-day thing, yes?
Yeah, it was a 1-day thing.
A 1-day thing, but that one part of the day where really the 10,000 comes up and you get your value. Let's talk about how it changed you, right? Because I saw the footage of the almost like a round table kind of thing looking thing, right? It's like a board meeting looking room. And then Gary was at one end and you were over there at the other. And you guys were just rifling, right? You were just hearing him talk, but you were just rifling questions like one after another. Is that right? Kind of like that?
Like in the beginning, he was just kind of like, everybody just kind of like say a little bit about, I guess, yourself first. And so like that part was kind of funny because like the first two guys were like, oh yeah, I do this and that. And he's like, all right, that's cool. Nice to meet you. And then the next guy's like, oh yeah, that's good. Nice to meet you. Then I was like, my name's Glenn. I have a YouTube channel, Hustler Hacks, where I like sell things on eBay and Amazon. He's like, oh, I love it. I love it. And then randomly he's like, what was your biggest flip recently? And I was like, oh crap. Like, like this is where I should have came prepared with like completed listings. Hurry, bring them up.
He's on to me. He knows I'm full of it. No.
Yeah, right? And so I was like, I remember I got a jacket at Marshall's and I flipped that, which is true, but that was like, for some reason, that was the only item I could think of, like randomly. And he's like, oh, I love that shit. Like he was just like, I don't know. He was really, really cool, but it just caught me like totally off guard. And then he like went on to the next person, but it was really cool.
How intense is he? I mean, in a keynote speaker sense, if you listen to his keynotes on YouTube, he's a pretty intense guy. How intense is he with 10 other individuals around him that have just paid 10 grand? What's the intensity in that room? Describe it. Is it high? Is it kind of like, oh, this is kind of boring? Like, how would you describe it?
Well, he's just like a little man with like a huge voice. So it's like, like anything he says, he's like super loud. Everybody's of course going to pay attention to him. I think everyone was just kind of like listening. And the funny thing is too, is like when you're talking, he's listening to you. Like he might be looking somewhere else or like scratching his back or like eating something, but he's listening to like every single word you're saying. And so he'll be ready to like counteract that, like whatever you just said, like by asking you other questions. So you have to like really be prepared.
All right. So give us 3 takeaways you got from the opportunity. If you had to list 3 takeaways, you're like, all right, this was pretty much what I learned.
Man, 3 takeaways. I mean, I'd probably say, I know I can't like say a whole lot, which kind of sucks too, because I really wanted to do a whole lot, especially with the channel. Like, oh damn, this is all the stuff that I learned. This is everything. I'd probably say the main thing was just like how much it actually takes to build a brand and a following, and all of the work that like his people do is insane, like behind the scenes. And they know how to do a lot of stuff, a lot of different platforms. Like they know how to like instantly like grab onto something to make changes to this, to go start out working on this and to do that. So like what it actually takes to build a brand is crazy. Like I have this full thing of like what to do. Now it's about like execution. Like if I really want to build Hustler Hacks, take it to the next level, this is what needs to be done. Now I got to find the time to like figure that out. That's like a totally different beast.
Right. And Raken's kind of like smirking a little bit, like agreeing with you.
Like how much time are you looking at, like compared to what you're doing now? Is it like double, triple, quadrupling your time for you to
at least like quadruple the time on certain things? Like it's just like content. Like he says for everything, like content is king. Like he's 100% pure on content. And like he tells people too, like maybe you suck on Twitter, like maybe you suck on YouTube, like maybe YouTube isn't for you. Like he'll tell people that, and they're like, well, how do I know what is for me? And he's like, well, you're gonna have to try out, Instagram, try to do different platforms to kind of start off, but eventually like he wants you on everything and like thriving on everything. Like it's like, dang, like it's just like insane. And then you have to find, even if you do want to outsource it, you have to know people too that like know how to do this. and know what they're doing, and not just putting, oh yeah, here's a picture of a quote that I did. Like, I don't know, it just has to
No
like
Fiverr,
really, really
right?
make sense.
No Fiverr.
Oh yeah, no Fiverr.
Rakin, it's funny how like most people have started on Fiverr. At some point, you started with Fiverr, right, Rakin?
You can find some good people on there, but they're far and few in between. It's a lot of crap. But yeah, everyone typically starts there and then maybe go to Upwork and find someone, to stick with over there.
Yeah. So anyway, so I think we're at the we're at the hour mark on the show. Guess what, Rakin? Guess what, Glenn? We made it through the entire outline, the whole thing. We did it. So that's amazing. But yeah, this is the Green Room Hangout, the special with Glenn, how he makes full-time money on Amazon. I want to take a second and I want to thank Glenn for being here, because now with his life being quadrupled, and he shouldn't even be here right now. He found an hour to be with us.
He's going to repurpose this video like 30 times.
He's going to do it by a dumpster. All right. I thank you for your hour. I mean, your time is super valuable. You got a wife, you got, things to take care of and all this stuff. Super valuable. It's fun to see Glenn, once every 6 months or a year here on the Green Room Hangouts. If you take a look, he was on a previous hangout where we talked about merch a lot, but since then his business has grown considerably on merch. So it's really good to revisit that, and hopefully we get to revisit Glenn and his business another 6 months or a year from now. You can find Glenn at the Hustler Hacks YouTube channel. You can also find him on Instagram at Hustler Hacks, and you can also find him with his podcast, which is called Merch Minds. There are about 31 episodes done. Glenn, how do people find that podcast? Is it on iTunes or what?
It's an iTunes or a Libsyn. You can find it there too.
Okay.
We're trying to get it like
on Stitcher and stuff.
Yeah, we're trying to get it on Stitcher next. It's like our next thing, but those two for sure.
Yeah, doing big things there, man. Doing big things.
And we also have a Facebook group too. It's free. We have like 1,800 people in there.
What's that one? What is that one?
It's Merch Minds also.
Okay.
So anybody can search that one on Facebook, and you can tag me and whatever. I'll try to answer the questions as I can.
Yep. Awesome. And then when you guys see some of my stuff that I'm coming out with soon, private label-ish, you'll see some of Glenn's work there as well. So really pumped, really pumped to do more business with Glenn down the road. Our friendship has been pretty good. And to think it just started from a ride along, Glenn.
Oh, I know. Just from me, like, hey, I'm part of the Green Room. Can I go on a ride along? Like, I'm coming from El Paso.
I remember where I met you. It was at like an old abandoned car dealership place that was having like on the side of the road garage sale. Yeah. It's like 60 degrees in the morning, and I was like, I'm supposed to look for a guy named Glenn. Where is he? And I found him, and then from there we just, But that's the beauty of YouTube. That's the beauty of all this stuff that that he was talking about, that Gary Vee was talking about too. You have to go out and try things. Merch might be for you, might not be for you. eBay, Amazon, doing a YouTube channel, getting on Instagram, all this stuff. You got to try. You have to try. And if I had never tried, I would have never met Glenn. I would have never met Steve. So there are a lot of important things behind the work and the ethic and all that kind of stuff. It's just the fact that we started, and I think we're going to see some really good things from Glenn in the future. So guys, thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to hit the like button. Very important. And next week's show is going to be on Steve's channel on Wednesday. Steve, got any closing remarks? Are we good?
Just want to thank Glenn for coming on. If you guys enjoyed this, be sure to like. Also, be sure to go over to Hustler Hacks on YouTube. Check them out. Give them a subscribe over there. Check out Merch Minds and the podcast. I actually just pulled it up, so I'm going to be listening to episode 29 after this. So, yeah, check it out. Thanks, Glenn. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, everyone who was watching. And, yeah, see you next week on my channel.
All right. Later, guys.
See you.
Peace.